Age 3 now, putting the Second Amendment first. In Kansas, it's happening, and it might also be unfolding in Ohio. The governor of the Jayhawk state signed into law a bill that makes it legal to carry a firearm without a permit. This despite an avalanche of bias, one-sided, agenda-driven reporting in Kansas by the mainstream media.
Some Kansas residents are taking aim and shooting down a new gun law.
Ultimately, I think the goal of this law was to make Kansans feel more secure.
Regardless, conceal and carry permit instructor Troy Bastian is against this law.
Even some gun owners we found at a local shooting range agree removing the required permits and training takes things too far.
I think it's a mistake. You need to be familiar with your gun to not only be safe for yourself, but to be safe for those around you.
Gunfire rattled the streets of KCK this week, and officials here fear more of it, intentional or otherwise, could result from Kansas' new gun law.
I think it could potentially make things more unsafe. I think just by statistics, the more guns out there, the more likelihood of gun accidents happening.
There you go. Now, Ohio is following Kansas. It could become the 7th state to allow concealed guns to be carried without a permit. However, in other states like California, it's the opposite. So what's the overall trend here? Bolstering the Second Amendment or stifling it? Joining me now, owner of Discount Gun Mart and Gun Range in Southern California, J.B. Gray. J.B., what's happening in Kansas right now with being able to carry a concealed firearm without a permit, it seems to me it's almost back to the future in the sense that, you know, if you go back just to 150 years ago, this wasn't even debated, was it? Wasn't this part of basically your shoes and your belt and your shirt?
Absolutely. It was part of American culture that you could possess and carry a firearm, concealed or otherwise. Certain municipalities, you know, small ones and large ones, could make their own regulations. But by and large, all over the United States, it was considered a basic right to be able to carry a firearm concealed to defend yourself, defend your person.
So what's happened? Is it just the size and scope of government? Is it the politicians that have gotten too big for their britches? Is it the fact that we've become a more sophisticated society? All of the above?
Well, there's a lot of motivation, but it tends to be the politicians and the government, the people that run the government, not wanting the citizens to take their safety into their own hands.
So are we seeing a trend here now with Kansas and Ohio? And I believe some of the other states are Arkansas, Alaska, Arizona. I believe they all allow you to carry without a permit?
Absolutely. There's now a total of 7 states that allow for what's called constitutional carry, your constitutional right to carry a firearm at all times, except in very few selected times and places. It has been proven time and time again that the states that allow concealed weapons permits, allow unfettered access to concealed weapons permits, every time that they have those, the state changes the law to allow the access to concealed weapons permits, or in this case, constitutional carry, violent crimes against the person plunges and goes down because the criminals realize that that person sitting next to them and that person they're about to prey upon is likely or may be likely to have a firearm to defend themselves. And there's no way of knowing it because of the fact that almost everybody in the state has the ability to carry a firearm unless they're prevented by law from possessing one.
Right, and that's the common sense argument against these gun-free zones, for example, right? If you're a bad guy or you're a crazed maniac, you're not going to go to a place, you're not going to go to a police station and start shooting it up. You're going to go to a movie theater that has a sign up on the wall that says gun-free zone. I mean, it's only common sense. But speaking of common sense, in states like New York or in California, it's common sense out the window. And there are sheriffs who are actively, in various counties throughout California, for example, who are actively denying concealed carry permits. In fact, there's a case in the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals right now where the Orange County Sheriff has been actively denying these permits, and people in the state of California have said, hey, we've had enough. We want to have our permits. What's the status of that case?
Well, what they've done is there was a 3-judge panel that upheld the decision on appeal that said that the sheriff was infringing on the Second Amendment by not allowing people to have concealed weapons permit for personal protection, requiring them to have a good cause, like they had threats against their life and they had documented it, or they have a business that they want to transport valuable merchandise or money to the bank. Those kind of what are called good cause reasons.
So if I went in there and I said, hey, my good cause is the Second Amendment, they would just flat out deny it, would they not?
Absolutely, they'd turn it down. And that case, the 3-judge hearing on appeal that upheld it, it was going to move forward, and then the people that were the sheriffs that were fighting the case, they managed to get the California Supreme Court to hear it in what's called a 9-judge en banc panel,
right?
And that's set for June.
So, just to keep things in perspective, I think that what they're typically issuing out of Orange County is about 500 permits per year. And this is a county of more than 3 million people. And you got to believe that more than 500 people want to have a concealed carry permit, don't you think?
Absolutely. Right now, the San Diego County Sheriff's has thousands upon thousands of permits awaiting the decision of this court case. And as soon as the court case was announced, that it was announced in favor of the applicants, they started accepting applications, and there's just an avalanche of applications that are on hold that the sheriff is refusing to process because they're for personal protection instead of for cause.
So bottom line, Kansas and California are going in opposite directions. Do you think we're going to see more of this? In the blue states, they'll be going anti-Second Amendment, and in the red states, generally speaking, they'll go pro?
Well, blue states if they go pro Second Amendment, it's going to be kicking and screaming. They don't want to willingly go there.
Right. All right. Well, JB, keep up the good work. And I abide by that old adage that you all talk about, and that is I need to carry a firearm at times because I can't carry a cop in my pocket. Kind of makes sense. Thanks, JB.
Thank you.